Welcome to Court Cousins. Two cousins sharing laughs and talking the team they love, the Orlando Magic. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's go on to our next segment where we put our money where our mouths are. Or at least I do, because I'm the degenerate in this crew. Wager time. So,
hey, are we going to maybe call this time? We could call this Vager time.
Like Wagner. Like
Wagner.
Moritz and Franz Wagner. It'd be Vager time. I
Just
like
saying.
it.
Like
Okay.
when I see that, that was the first thing that popped into my head because I'm now taught that W's are V's. Thank you, Germany.
Thank you for your V's and your efficient vehicles. It's very good. All right, we're just going to leave that there. So in wager time, we're going to go over some of the lines, some of the prop bets, some of the over-unders that are for our Magic team and Magic adjacent bets. So today, and I know, Pich, don't get mad at me. We did talk about this, I believe, on our first ever episode. And you mentioned earlier that has not been released to the public. Our audio is still not in great shape, but maybe we'll release it later if folks are interested. On that first episode, we both talked about the over-under for wins. Right now, most sports books have the Orlando Magic at 22.5 wins. And I know on that first pod, I think maybe just because it was our first one, we were both feeling really giddy and optimistic for the season. I think we both were kind of leaning over. I don't recall exactly, and I'm sorry to do this to you, Pich. When I actually came time to put my money down, I went under. I went under.
You don't have to apologize to me. You have to apologize to your Orlando Magic. When you see them at some point this year, you're going to have to explain to them that you have the under, and that'll be on you. And I'll be over here going, hey, man, I think you guys are winning more than 22.5 games. Let's go.
And I know we just got done talking about how I'm the optimist and you're the realist. And I don't mean to be a sore sport. I don't mean to be a malcontent. I don't mean to be a grouch. But these preseason games have really drilled home to me how much of a development year this is going to be. I've also watched a little bit of, the Pistons and the Cavaliers, and I just think they're further along than we are right now. They've got some more guys than we do. We've got guys coming back off of injury, and someone's got to take the L's. There's always a punching bag, and unfortunately, I think that may be us. I just think that, hopefully we'll see the growth. We'll see the spurts. But, I just don't feel like we're going to know how to win. A young team, that's right. What you got to learn. You got to learn how to win, and that takes time.
Hey, keep politely throwing out the maybes and the might be's. Look, we're going to be a punching bag, but a punching bag can still win more than 22.5 games. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not saying we're going to blow this out of the water and get 40 wins or anything crazy like that. I'm saying I think we can get 25 wins. I don't think it's that crazy a concept. I think we could even get 27 wins. Ooh, scarily get a couple more in there, but I just think we can get more than those amount of wins. There's some other bad teams, or you catch a team having a bad day. I just feel like odds are there's 82 games in a season, and you're going to tell me that they're only going to win 22.5 games. Like, it just doesn't seem. I know they're going to still eat a bunch of L's. Don't get me wrong. They're going to be serving it up nice. I mean, I'm sure Salt Bay is going to be over here doing one of these numbers, rubbing stuff off all over those L's, but I still feel like they can get a number of W's that is higher than 22.5. And I feel pretty good about it. If I was a betting man, I'd put a little money down. I don't know what the odds are, but I'd do it.
Maybe you're out there and you're saying, Kyle, how can I be a Magic fan and just bet under 22.5 wins? To Pich's point, I just can't. I got to believe more in my team. And to you, I say there is a bet out there for you. I checked DraftKings and a couple other sports books, and this is where the odds are juicy, ladies and gentlemen. I am definitely putting some money on this because I do have that optimism. I do think that if it all breaks right, J.I. comes back in pretty good health and gets up to speed fast. Markelle comes back with Chuma and, Terrence and Gary Harris and Jalen Suggs ascendancy. I think we have some good players, and I think we go pretty deep. I think we can maybe challenge, if everything breaks right and a couple other teams get injury. So here's the bet. The odds are for the 10th spot in the Eastern Conference, meaning the last team for the play-in into the playoff, plus 18,000 that the Magic will get that 10 seed. That means, ladies and gentlemen, if you put down $100, you win 18,000. Or what I'm going to do, I'm going to put $10 down on it and I win 1,800. If you're feeling super confident about our Orlando Magic, our odds for 9th place are plus 25,000. So put down $10, win 2,500. I'm going to put 10 on that too. Just cause, if it all breaks right, woo, $10 out the door, not a big deal, but 2,500 coming in sounds pretty nice.
First of all, side note, almost everything we do on this show should be just because we're court cousins. But I love the idea of betting something less than like what you would pay for a new video game and winning thousands of dollars for it. So even though I'm not a big betting man, I'm going to put my stamp of approval on this stuff. Anytime the odds are this big, why not take a chance?
Why not, right? Why not? So I'm going to kind of hedge those two bets. I'm going to bet the under for my kind of realistic, rational side, but then I'm going to, on the flip side, bet just small amounts on that 10th and 9th. So it is possible that I could lose both, but, I think likely, if I hit that over, I'm not going to be, if I hit that 18 plus 18,000 for 10th place,
right,
I'm not going to care how much money I put down on the under at all. And I'm not going to put a lot, but
if you change your mind, I'll be first in line.
All right.
I can just hear that song going through my head right now. Take a chance on me. Let's go.
We also want to bet some player props and some player lines. How many points, how many rebounds, that type of thing will players get in given games, or in a given season. Now, unfortunately, our Orlando Magic do not have, as of right now, any preeminent players that are worthy of these sports books to even put odds on the points per game they will average all season.
That's not a good sign, by the way.
No, that is not a good sign. That gets back to my under call. It's looking good. There are no Magic player odds for points per game right now for the season, but we do have an ex-Magic beloved individual, Nikola Vucevic, who is in DraftKings Sportsbook at 21.8 points per game for the season. Now, how are you thinking about that, Pich? You think Vooch is going to go to Chi-Town and average essentially 22 this year?
No, I don't know. I mean, it depends on a lot of things. I would have to say no, because everyone tells me they have a lot of good young players on the Bulls, and those guys are going to be getting buckets. But honestly, I don't think he's going to get that high. I think he could come in at like maybe even 17, 18 points a game, just because I feel like the other guys will be scoring on that team. If I had to go one way or the other, I'm going with the under here.
Pich, I'm going to agree with you on this. I'm going to bet the under on Nikola Vucevic, 21.8 points per game. Just as a little reference, last year, before he was traded, he was averaging 23.4 points per game with the Magic. So, 2 points higher than the line is being set right now. Once he was traded, he averaged 21.5, which is 0.3 less than the line right now. But, he's going to a new team, getting acclimated. That makes sense. I just feel like you touched on that with Lonzo Ball being added, and by the way, he is balling out, forgive the pun. I mean, he is shooting a high percentage from three. He is dishing. He's putting mud on New Orleans' face. They are not looking good letting him get away. That's for sure. He is fitting in really well with the Chicago Bulls. He's looking like he could be a 20-point per game scorer. With Zach LaVine, who is going to put up close to 30 potentially, and DeMar DeRozan, who is not shy of shooting. Those three guys carrying the offensive burden, we fed Vooch last season. I mean, he was our only consistent guy, and he was only averaging 23.4 on our Magic team last year. I just can't see him going to a team that's loaded with scorers, him getting to 21.8. I mean, they want to play fast, so that'll give more opportunities, but I'm going to bet the under on Nikola Vucevic at 21.8 points per game. because there's only one rock to go around. And I think he's going to be awesome for that team, just not maybe the primary scorer on
Yeah, I'm living this life with a different attitude. Don't flip, don't trip, keeping up the good